I want to give a big what's up to my subscribers, first of all. This is the Prince Miller Show. I appreciate y'all. And to everyone else, like, share, subscribe, because we got a lot more things coming. We start off the year right. I got my cousin here for this episode, and he's going to be featured here possibly every week. He came here today with no shoestrings on, and he know I don't like that. But what can I say? He's younger than me. He's going to do what he do, man. You can give a person as much knowledge as you can, but it's up to them to choose which direction they want to take or how they want to take the information you give them and going forward, and that's what it is. But one day he's going to regret that. I remember one time I was incarcerated, and I always mention that because I'm not ashamed of my past. And there was a guy in prison who had no shoelaces on, and he got assaulted by someone. Guy was trying to stab him. He couldn't even fight off the guy because he kept coming out of his shoes, and he ended up losing that battle, all because he didn't have shoelaces on for real. So, although this is the streets and not the penitentiary, I would advise you to start wearing your shoelaces.
Yeah.
It may be nice for style.
Yeah.
But for substance, that shit ain't cool.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know. I had to say that because you know I don't like that.
And then can I say something about your style of choice with how you wear your boots, since we on boots and styles and laces?
Now, we're not on that.
Oh.
but you know I don't like that. But I don't even think they're going to see that. But go ahead.
Yeah. They can see it.
Yeah,
but if I gotta take advice from you sometimes, which I have no problem doing that, you also gotta take advice from me, right? So you wear your boots like choked up all the way to the top as if you think you're gonna be in combat or war every day. You're not gonna be in combat and war every day. You don't gotta wear your boots laced and tightened up all the way to you ready to go to war.
Every day is a war, man. The minute you wake up to the time you go to sleep, whether it's a war in business, whether it's a war with family, or whether it's a war with whatever you do, the streets, to me, everything is a war.
Yeah.
Whether it's making money, how you gonna survive the next day, that's just how I grew up. But yeah, I lace mine up. I'm gonna continue to lace mine up. But you do what you do, man. I ain't criticizing. They nice looking boots.
Yeah, and they warm.
They nice looking boots, but I just don't know how you keep your feet in them, man. But
Yeah.
we gonna get off the topic of
And
boots,
speaking of war,
yeah.
You snuck to that fight last night without me, man. Yo, that's crazy, man. You snuck to the fight last night without me. You was in Madison Square Garden. First time in the Garden?
No, I don't think it was the first time. No, it wasn't the first time. I've been in the Garden before. I've been in the Garden since I've been out. I think that's my second time since I've been out.
You went to the Knicks game?
Went to the Knicks game.
Yeah.
BJ.
That's when you took that picture with Floyd.
Yeah, took the picture with Floyd on that time. And I've been to the Garden before that as well. Way before that, before I got locked up.
Before we talk about the fight that happened last night at the Garden,
we're going to talk about that fight too, because
I owe you some money, right? Because I bet on
Teofimo.
Teofimo.
Some money, right. And you liked it, Shakur, but you felt that Teofimo would win the fight. But we're going to get to that.
Yeah, I thought the fight would be closer, but tell me about that conversation.
Nowhere close.
Tell me about that conversation you had with Floyd. Did y'all have like an interaction when you met him at the Garden? That time you took a picture with him?
BJ introduced me to Floyd, and we spoke. And yeah, we had a good conversation. He was telling me about how he invests his money with real estate in New York. Yeah, so it was a good conversation and whatnot. And he explained to me how he deals with his affairs and how he make his business decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a real good conversation, man. You know, yeah, it was a pleasure speaking to him.
That's dope. Yeah. That's dope. So last night in the Garden, around what time did you get in there? Did you see all the other fights before?
Well, before I went to the Garden, we had a sort of like a book signing, like a little party type thing for 3 people, but it was just a casual affair. A lot of good people I haven't seen before. A lot of the OGs there. My man Ronnie Bump, who's currently doing a book. You know what I'm saying? It should be out soon. I can't wait to read it. It's going to be like that, man, because he was one of the really, really original OGs, man. And when people see that book, they're going to be, like, highly impressed. It's almost done. I also was there with my man, Big D. Solid, you know what I mean? And it was a pleasure to see him because I don't get to see him as often as I do. Of course, Big Joe was there, and a lot of people was there. My man, Pete Monsantos. Man, I felt good seeing them. And I had to go there because I had committed myself to going, and
They all had books. Everybody had.
Everybody didn't have books. It was really just for 3 people, but other people was there with books as well because I met some people there and signed somebody's book for them. But it was more of a casual get together than almost like a book signing. But it was both.
Okay, and then after there, you went to the fight.
Went to the fight afterwards, But while I was at that place, it felt good. The atmosphere was nice. Everybody was having fun, and it was cool at that first event. Then I end up going to the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, without me.
Without you this time.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I got the tickets at the last moment. I was waiting on them and they came. You know what I'm saying? As promised.
Yeah.
And I had a good time and
without
fight.
me. I'm gonna keep saying that one. Without me.
I had an excellent time. Your man was there. Chris Gotti was there.
Another one who just left me out high and dry. That's crazy, man.
Chris was there. It was
wow.
Don't worry about that. There's gonna be more fights and more games and
that's your favorite line to me. Whenever something happens, you be like, man, don't worry about it, man. It's always next time.
I tell you what, man. You start wearing strings in your boots, man. I'll make sure you come every time, man. I can't have you walking with me or coming with me somewhere. Suppose something just happened. I'm not saying nothing's gonna happen because I'm far removed from certain things.
Yeah.
But suppose it does, man. Suppose a fight go down.
Yeah.
Somebody might knock you out your boots, man.
I don't think so.
I know that. That ain't gonna happen. But I'm just telling you, man. But let me get off that.
Yeah,
that's my pet.
So did you enjoy the fight though? What round did you get there in? What round did you get there?
I got there a little late because I went to the first event. I got there in the I think the first 2 rounds had already been done when I got there, and Keyshawn Davis was fighting because I wasn't trying to miss Keyshawn. And I definitely wasn't gonna miss Shakur.
Yeah, and Shushu fought too.
I missed Shushu's fight. That's the one I wish I would have saw because they said that joint was explosive.
He reminded me of Zab Judah a little bit, Shushu.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, but I missed the Shushu fight, and I'm pissed about that.
Yeah,
right. But I caught Keyshawn and Shakur, and boy, Keyshawn. Let me just talk about him real quick. This kid is like that, man. He's bad, man. And he looked so comfortable in the ring, man. But he dropped the dude with a body shot, man. That was vicious, man. Right? And he ended the fight. He dropped him with a body shot, then he ended the fight with a body shot.
They said those shots is the most effective shots.
Indeed, man. And he made it look so easy, but then both of them made it look easy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I didn't miss this fight, right? And then Shakur, who you betted against, right?
Well, let me clarify that. Yeah. So I didn't really think Teofimo was going to win because I think Shakur is actually the best fighter in boxing right now. Well, in that division, as far as the youngsters, I think Shakur is the best fighter right now. It would probably be between him and Tank, but Shakur reminds me more of Floyd. And Floyd is my favorite boxer of all time.
That's funny you say that because Shakur has an affinity for Floyd as well.
Yeah, that defense
and whatnot. And
the counter punching.
The defense, the fact that Floyd went through his career and still has his senses and his ability. And Floyd was good at not being touched, but being effective in the ring. Now, Shakur, if you looked at my
interview,
my part 2 of the Prince Miller show, when I interviewed Shakur explained his rationale to boxing. And in it, Shakur said, I want to retire where I still know who my daughter is. And I'll have interactions with my family and stuff like that. I want to retire with his sensibilities. And that makes a lot of sense. So this is a man who's playing chess. And I say chess because he's thinking ahead about what he wants his end game to be. And so when he fights, he ain't ducking wreck. He's in the middle of the ring. He's all over the place. He's a tactician. And I keep telling, in my interview with him, and I think with my interview with Jay Prince, and then my interview with Shakur, I mentioned, I think, chess. And I'm a student of the game. I'm like that. I love that game. The best players win if you think 6, 8, 10 moves ahead. And before you say something, let me finish with this real quick. When I went to the training camp, right, to see Shakur and Keyshawn, and I watched how they trained, and I watched the fighters that got in the ring with them. Some of the fighters that they trained with were actually good fighters. They were good boxers. But when you watched them training, and when you watched Shakur training, both of them really, but when I watched Shakur training, all I could think about was chess. The way he was thinking in the ring. And to me, the ones who last in that game and who come out with all their senses is the ones who think while they're fighting. Because it ain't about taking a lot of abuse. You feel me? Now, mind you, in Keyshawn's fight, he dropped the dude twice and them body shots were lethal. And in Shakur's fight, he was piecing them up so much. Blood was all over the man's face, over Teofimo's face. He left there swollen, man. He was hitting him. He hit him with a body shot that was vicious as well. And that was a vicious, both of those fights were vicious fights. And I'm glad I was at ringside to see it, you know, and I tip my hat to both of them. And I love them two kids, man. And I'm proud of them. And I like the examples that Shakur sets, right, about his family. He had his daughter in the ring. When at the end, he had his daughter up there. Bam. You know what I'm saying? And I think his lady was there as well. But he to me, is a good representation of the sport, man. You know, and he ain't ducking no wreck. And so, and he got power.
Yeah, but you said you like more tacticians and people that's strategic in the ring. Me personally, you know, and I feel like a lot of the boxing fans is like this. They want to see the explosiveness. They want to see the power, the knockout power. That's why people revere like Mike Tyson and Ali and like Joe, like the heavyweights, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Javante. Because they knocking dudes out. All that tactician stuff, that's cute and that's all strategic. That's cool. But we need to see the fireworks too, because that's what, when you knock somebody out, the fans draw more to you. People don't want to see that you breaking your opponent down for the whole fight. It's boring.
But let me show you. Let me tell you something. If you'd have been at ringside, wasn't nobody bored in there. Even Teofimo's fans weren't bored. Mm-hmm. They was winching at the hits that he was taking. Mm-hmm. They was winching, and some of them started leaving even before the end of the fight. Some of them was, because they didn't probably want to see him lose. They knew he was losing. Yeah, I don't think he won a round. If he won, anything, he won 2 rounds. And I'm telling you this, that fight was impressive. Mm-hmm. You wasn't bored, and it wasn't just little taps here and there. They was slugging, man. Yeah. They was slugging. Just that he wasn't really getting hit by them joints like that.
You got any fight that you remember that you was in? Ever in your life? Whether it was
I had fights when I was a kid. I had fights when I was old. I had fights in the joint. Yeah. I've had fights all over. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
But it's how you handle yourself afterwards. You pick yourself up, man, and you keep going. Yeah. And that's the thing about it, you know what I'm saying? Now in boxing, you ain't trying to lose. Yeah. In real life, man, you learn from your losses.
So you did take a couple L's.
I might have took an L here or there. But I don't get into too much to have to fight somebody for anyway. You know what I'm saying, for real. You know what I mean?
And you never went to no fights in the 80s? Like what I used to do back in the...
I think I seen Sugar Ray. I went to a few fights. I can't remember offhand. Yeah. Of course we did. When we had parties, or we would sometimes throw them around the time that there was fights.
Mm-hmm. You like boxing more than basketball? More than the NBA?
I love boxing more than basketball.
That's your favorite sport?
Yes, it is. I love boxing.
And then your second favorite sport would be what?
Football.
So the NBA is your third? Just give me your top 5 favorite sports, man, since we...
Boxing, football, basketball.
And then what's the last 2 after?
I love tennis.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned a little bit from a friend of mine who was locked up that was a good tennis player. Mm-hmm. His name was I I'll get his name in a little while.
And you like tennis because that's also like a chess match to you.
Tennis is one of the most explosive sports you can play.
And what's the last sport? Because you gave me 4. What would be the last one that you
I
like?
think I said boxing,
Football, NBA, tennis.
basketball, and tennis.
That's 4.
That's 4. That's what you said.
No, top 5. You got to give me one more.
Top 5.
The last sport.
I ain't got to give you nothing. Man. I gave you 4, man. That's as much as you're gonna get from me.
Got you.
You like to impose your questions on me, man. Only because, just so everybody know, my subscribers mainly and everybody else that follow, I don't go over questions with you.
Yeah.
Whatever you come with, and that's what it is, and I don't care about. I have nothing to fear from your questions.
Speaking of,
and don't work, but don't trip, because I'm gonna ask you some questions.
It's a back and forth thing.
Limits either.
It's a back and forth thing. But speaking of your subscribers, I was in your comments after you had put the Jay Prince interview out, and one of the comments that stood out to me was a guy said, "What is this thing that he's doing with Jay Prince? I thought he was doing a part with his cousin." And I just thought I'd bring that up to you, because people out there in the world think that me and you is doing a show together, like full time.
And where they got that thought from?
Oh, I guess they just seen how the first episode went, and they just like that just looks.
Or is it that you seen how the first episode went? It went good though.
Great, I think it went great.
It went great. It was official because it was natural, spontaneous, nothing planned.
Yeah,
and I think the people who watch it, they don't want too much structured speech where somebody's going over questions and stuff like that. But
they want they want our show.
You're gonna be a regular, man. You're gonna be a regular, man, because you add a different flavor to it.
Yeah.
You young, you wear no shoestrings, you wear these green outfits.
Money green.
Yeah.
Money green. It's one of my favorite colors.
Can I ask you a question, man? Since you surprising me with questions, right?
Yeah.
All that stuff on your neck is real.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. I actually go to your jeweler, Benny, to get a lot of my stuff. Benny's solid.
Way back in the
Speaking
days.
of Benny, the Coliseum. The Coliseum is closing down, man. How you feel about that? Because that's your old stomping grounds, right?
Yeah, it's Coliseum, man. It's funny because I didn't even know it was closing down until somebody told me a couple of days ago. And they're going to give something about that. They're going to have something like a little event about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
What, they going to build something there or something?
I think they just want the property, like the real estate there. They just want to create something else because after the pandemic, everything just started slowing down. Oh, okay. So I guess the sales and the stores, there's no use for it anymore. But
trust me, if they closing the Coliseum down, they building something else there that they can make more money off.
Probably apartment complex, probably a luxury apartment building or something like that.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Man.
You don't got no stories in the Coliseum from the 80s?
I got a lot of stories. I've been up there so many times, man. That's where everybody hung out at. We made that spot what it is back in the days. You know, for them to talk about it now, we made it. But, those stories, I can't even, compared to my life story.
Yeah.
Just
See, this is what kills me about you, man. You got all the stories in the world, and you don't want to share none of. They told me y'all was throwing people off the roof, man, in the Coliseum. I don't know if it's a folk tale, because there's a lot of folk tales about y'all. And I mean, I don't know. They told me that the thing that Nino Brown did when he hung the guy off the roof and he was talking to him, that, and they said they got that from y'all. It was inspired from y'all.
It wasn't at the Coliseum. And it might not even be true.
Yeah.
And I like positive stories. I don't like to be talking about negative stories.
I mean, it's not negative. It's just folk tales. We just addressing folk tales.
All right.
But they said that y'all was hanging people off the Coliseum roof sometimes.
Yeah. No, not that I remember.
So New Jack City wasn't based off y'all?
I don't know what New Jack City was based on. That's like asking me was Power based off of me and Preem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All you gotta do is look at it, and then you can tell what things are based on, predicated on what you know about a person's life. My story is to be sold and not just told. I'm not gonna just be getting on here talking about the stories of the Supreme team.
Yeah.
You will see that, and then you're gonna see the end of the story, which is more of a positive thing about it, from the Supreme team to the Redeem team.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're telling somebody a story, if you're really trying to teach people, because you know me, my thing is to prevent children, teenagers, and young adults from choosing or making a bad choice to choose that street lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And choices are funny because sometimes people make choices based on the fact of their needs, right? Not always their wants.
Mm-hmm.
Some people make choices based on their wants and not always their needs. So you can't knock how people do things at the time, and
So you want to be a role model?
you like to
My bad.
You like to
My bad. Interrupt you.
interrupt me
Yeah,
when
the
I'm
flow.
speaking, man.
Yeah,
but
my
that's the
part and
signs
self.
of a young guy who don't wear shoelaces.
Yeah,
So,
my bad,
yeah,
man.
but go ahead, bro. What you
I'll be excited, man. I be wanting to get all my questions out.
Now you made me forget what I was gonna say, but go ahead, say what you was gonna say.
Do you look at yourself as a role model?
I may have to change with us the thing about you asking me questions unprepared. I got to keep my eye on you, man.
All right,
But go
man.
ahead. What you was gonna say?
Do you consider yourself a role model?
If I consider myself a real role model, I wouldn't even say it. So I can't answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
That's for people to determine in their own mind, because everybody got an opinion. There's some people who might see me speak on the Prince Miller show and say, why are people listening to this guy? He's an ex-drug dealer, blah, 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 blah. Because I've seen a comment or two like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the overall comments were positive. It was a commercial back in the days that we used to look at, and they would put two dummies in a car. Like, say me and you right here, right? I'm going to say you. I'm going to say you. But let's say you got a
Me
dummy,
and one of my homeboys.
You got dummy in one chair, and a chair, one chair, and one dummy in another chair of a car. And they would run that dummy straight into a brick wall, right? And the dummy is move around, be broke up or whatever. And then the guy come on there, or some words that come on there, and they'll say, you can learn a lot from a dummy. So basically in the car, you get to see how people move around and the impact of a crash, right? You can learn a lot from somebody's experience. So if I'm a role model to someone who can learn something from me, and only they can determine what they can learn, depending on what they're looking for and what I say or what I do, especially since I've been out after 34 and a half years. If there's a person who sees me one way only, it don't matter what good I do, he'll never see me as a role model because it's subjective to that person. But if it's somebody who's objective in their life and wants to learn something from anything that he can, he would see in me the answer to your question. So I can't answer that question for you or nobody else. So I can't say, yeah, I'm that. It's not for me to say,
Mm-hmm. So, do you care how people think about you, how they view you, how they see you?
I can care less. The only people I actually do care about how they see about me now, and that's because I spent so much time in prison, right, is my mother and father, and of course my daughter and my grandkids. And that's because I spent so much time away from my parents because I chose that lifestyle. I made a bad choice. I made a choice. And that choice took me away from them. And during that choice, my grandparents all passed away on both sides, maternal and paternal, right? My daughter was 8 years old when I went to prison. She's 43. So of course, how they think about me now factors, because if I went back to the streets or went back to the drug game or whatever I was doing and jeopardized myself again, I know they would think of me in negative terms, but they would think that I didn't care about my family. See, not because I didn't, because I always did, even when I made the choices I made and when I was doing my bid. Because with them, they with you regardless, and they doing that time with you. You calling your mother and father, you calling your daughter, you worried about her, you don't want her to be abused or whatever. So you got to impress them. And so I care about how they think. For me to stand up here and say I don't care about how nobody think, first of all, you couldn't trust me. That's one. Two, it don't even make sense because there's always somebody you want that you care about how they think, rather. There's somebody that you feel that way about. Then when you meet other people in your life, when you come out, who want to see you stay out and be successful, if you feel for them and you got love for them, you care about how they think about you as well. But everything is subjective. But to answer your question, outside of them, I don't care about how my family, rather. Outside of my family and my the people who love me and my comrades, I don't care about how nobody think because I can't make nobody think about me in a certain way. They have to see what they can gain from my life or the experiences that I went through. Jay Prince said something in an interview that we did, the first interview. He said he don't subscribe to the fact that experience is the best teacher. A person's personal experience is the best teacher. He said you can learn from other people's experiences. And that goes back to you can learn a lot from a dummy.
Mm-hmm.
A person can learn from a person's experience. For instance, I'm 63 years old and I'm around younger people now a lot. In fact, most of my podcasts are going to be geared towards millennials, Gen Zs, and even generations younger than that. That's where I'm really gearing the Prince Miller Show from. And it ain't even just going to be a podcast. It's going to be a podcast / talk show / whatever you see it as. But it's geared to them. So I want to set examples and have teaching moments. Now, that being said, I'm definitely going to be addressing that street life.
Mm-hmm.
When I finish speaking, you're going to understand that street life to the fullest extent. And then if you want to make a choice to deal with that life, hey, you can't say that you ain't forewarned. I guarantee you, if you make that choice and you end up in prison, you'll be thinking about the Prince Miller Show, and you'll be saying, damn, that dude, man, that did all that time told me, man, that, yo, man, it was a lot of sacrifices, this thing. It's a lot of loss, a lot of pain, a lot of agony. People call me from prison right now. They want to get home. They want to come out. Not just your father, but other people, right? They call me, and they see me out, and they hear things. They be like, damn, how this? And I be telling them, because I was going so long, and I be trying to tell them, damn, I'm learning so much, man. Every interaction that I deal with people, not just a famous person, but people in general, I try to learn from. My interview, if you really dissect my interviews with Jay Prince and dissect my interviews with Shakur, right? And even if you dissect this interview, because we ain't finished yet, right? You always gonna learn something real and something positive, right? That you can take away and apply towards yourself. You know what I mean? Because I ain't a person who run my mouth just to be running my mouth. You know what I mean? So
I want to say two things about that. So what do you say to your fans that bought into you being this street guy and this kingpin that want to hear those stories and they don't want to hear all the positive stuff? They just want to hear the folk tales and the Wild Wild West cowboy stories, because that's why I feel like people maybe half of the people buy into you because they know you was a wild cowboy back in your past life, or that was the whatever narrative that was out. So they want to hear more gangster stuff. They don't want to hear all the positive stuff. So how do you address those people and cater to them?
you're gonna get to see it. You're gonna get to see it. You're gonna get to see it on the screen. You're gonna get to see it in the series, and you're gonna get to hear it from me right here, because there will be one segment a week starting next week where I delve into aspects of the street life by specifically showing you, right, what I spoke about last year, in a small way. I'm gonna take you through that street life like it's a mirror. Once a week, starting next week, I'm gonna show you real characters and cases of individuals from a seller's perspective, from a kingpin's perspective, from a person who was using drug perspective, because I'm gonna have all that up here. right? And I'm gonna show you the damage, and I'm gonna show you some of the positive, because people think that there's nothing positive in the negative that you do. So there was a time when America was built on negativity, right? But we all Americans now. And so do we forget the history of that, right? Do we all, because of that history, am I supposed to be a racist because my ancestors were slaves, right? Nah, I got friends that are white that I got mad love for. I call some of them my brothers, right? So my point is, people look at the drug game and people who are in the drug game, right? And they assume, yeah, they negative, why listen to him? They don't even know we did wrong, but we also fed people. You know, we did wrong, but we also, help people. I'm saying as well. And I ain't trying to justify the wrong. I'm just saying to you, you can learn from negative, and sometimes positive can come from negative, man. So
I see you keep looking at my jacket, man. I feel like you want to say something about the jacket.
Yeah, I like your jacket. And I'm sorry if I got serious, but I want to answer one more thing to what you said.
Yeah.
They're going to get to learn all that on this podcast. If you want that, you're going to get that. Because one thing about it, I want to make sure people get what they came for.
That's a fact.
And so I'm going to give it to them.
Yeah.
I ain't hiding nothing. I ain't ducking nothing, no questions. And I'm going to answer a lot of things. So you got the rare privilege to ask me anything you want, and you're going to get an answer to it, because that's what we agreed to. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So that was the stipulations, right? What was our terms and agreement of our thing? Because you said you don't want me doing no other podcast, or you saying that's what I volunteered?
No, you can do any. No, let me see. On your gram, we said you ain't gonna do no foolery, right?
Facts.
That's what we said.
Facts.
You've been more stable, like, for real, man. But you can't hamstring a dude, man. I really don't care what you do, man. But if you're gonna be up here with me sometime, I can't have you look like no fool somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
Sometimes you give an interview, you ain't supposed to be interviewed by just anybody. That's one. And you ain't supposed to just and you gotta watch what you say, what you put out in the ether.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? One thing I don't like to do, I don't like to tell no lies to the people. Because I feel like you don't have to lie to nobody. If they don't like what you say, so what? You tell them the truth. If they don't like it, then you move on. You know what I mean? I ain't gotta lie to nobody about nothing.
Why haven't you done Vlad TV yet?
Because first of all, Vlad had interviewed Sammy the Bull. And I think Sammy the Bull got $20,000 for that interview. Because what? Because he was an Italian mobster who flipped, and people wanted to hear about that, so you gave him $20,000, right? Well, that's what I would want if you want to interview me on Vlad.
Mm-hmm.
$20,000, and you don't have to interview me. I don't care, because I ain't looking for. One thing about me on the Prince Miller Show, I ain't looking for the clicks, the
algorithm.
I can care less about any of that stuff, to be honest with you. I mean, but that being said, I still want to get my message out to the people, man. So this is one show that you're gonna get what's real, and you will be entertained if you got any kind of common sense to pay attention and really read between the words. So
got you.
It's gonna be entertaining. You'll see not the next one coming up, because I might do a show strictly about the street life, using a particular person, and I'm gonna take them through the street life through my eyes, with documentation to show them how that life really affects people. I'm putting that together now. It's gonna be awesome.
Who's some of the realest street guys that you ever came encounter with in your life? Like, if you could say that you just like, damn, no, that guy is so thorough, so solid. He's the epitome of a street guy. Aside from my pops and aside from yourself, who would you say is some of those people, like, You can name anybody, people from the streets, people you was locked up with, people from the mob, the Italians, black, whoever. Give me some of your most street authentic guys.
When we start from in prison or on the street?
You can start from in prison.
In prison, let's say this. I was locked up with John Gotti when we was on Rikers Island. I knew him since Rikers Island. We was locked up together. You can go back and look at the times and the dates and all that. We was locked up together, and they had moved me from Queens House of Detention, and they put me in Rikers Island Hospital because they try to keep high-profile cases, CMC cases, segregated. So they put me in Rikers Island Hospital. Me, Chris Jughead Williams, Delroy Uzi Edwards, and also John Gotti on one side. We was on the side where it was CMC, high-profile cases. And then they put, on the other side, it was protective custody. So they brought John in there, and we got to know each other in there, you know. But they took him out fast because they didn't want him around us for some reason. I don't know what it was. He was cool. He was comfortable. He was chilling. He was proper. Then they moved him to the other side. He got his lawyers to take him off the other side fast. And they got from off the other side. You know what I'm saying? But he was solid. I liked him. He was smooth. I knew him before the feds, before we went to the feds, you know. Then you had William Bill Underwood, solid. I love Underwood, man. It's like to me, he's like an OG, man.
Where he from?
He from Harlem. He was from Harlem.
Okay.
He has a beautiful story. I don't know why nobody trying to, maybe he ain't trying to, but I don't know. But he has a beautiful story, right? William Underwood was solid. Guy Fisher, I was with Guy Fisher in USP Allenwood and William Underwood in USP Allenwood. You know, I can tell you stories about them. Big Joe was actually in Allenwood with us at the time. We was all there together. Then you had solid men out of DC. Of course, Antoine White was one of them. There was a couple of other ones that was there. Markey from DC, a whole bunch of another homie named Tone from DC. You know, solid people, solid individuals. You know, then you had at the time it was some solid GD brothers that I met that was there. You know, I got so many people I've been around. I call them homies now because I can call them up with the drop of a dime on the phone, and if I'm going any place near them or where they at, I can call them up and kick it with them. Like last night, I seen Crusher last night at the after party. Actually, after the fight,
yeah.
He was there. I was happy to see him. We stood on a wall together, man, and just, you know, I see him. He was standing on a wall. I went over there. We stood on the wall and was talking about the past and the present and how life is, and you know what we trying to do. You know, he gives back to the communities in a big way. In fact, he's been traveling around giving back to the community. And he came up with something that they're going to come to Queens and South Jamaica, our section, our area, and they're going to give away some stuff to the peoples, man. Doing positive stuff. We here doing positive stuff, man. But to answer your question, there's a lot of other people that I can talk about. And they all got stories that people going to want to hear when they eventually put those stories out, man. You feel me? And whatnot.
You don't like letting new people come into your life. Like, if you don't have like a history with somebody, if you ain't go through something with a person, because I see even now the guys that you hang around on your day to day, the people you talk to, is people that you was cool with back in the days. So like, you don't like meeting new people and letting them get close to you, or like.
Well, but that's not necessarily true. I know Preem knew Jay Prince, right?
And
I met Jay Prince. You know what I'm saying? And I meet new people. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. But I'm still on your question about the people that you said I met.
Yeah.
But now on the street level, of course, Bump, Big D, you know, it's a couple of people that I can speak about, you know what I'm saying, that I can talk about. You know, Jughead was solid. You know, Jughead was still solid.
What was your other nicknames besides Prince?
That was the only name that I had. Besides.
They never called you Esquire?
Oh, they call me Esquire because I know the law. They call me Machiavelli. They call me that's Esquire Machiavelli. Beside
I know all your secrets, man. Who dressed you? Did you come up with this outfit yourself this morning, or like what?
Well, see, I'm a truth teller, man. I came in at 4 this morning, and I got up and took another shower, right? Changed my clothes, put my sneakers on, dressed myself, put this on, you know, and
if you would let me style you, man, I'll have your outfits ready for you to go, man.
I'm a plain, simple person. Yeah. I might wear my pants 2 times, 3 times a week, man, if they jeans or something like that.
Yeah.
No shame at all. As long as my undergarments are clean and changed, I'm happy, man. So it's all about the body being clean when you get in the clothes.
That's a fact.
As long as you ain't soil yourself and you've been around filth or worked out in them clothes, you know what, you can always kind of, you know.
Where you used to shop at back in the days? Like, y'all used to go to the city?
Rebel Knox, Dapper Dan, couple of places.
Y'all used to go to Dapper Dan?
Yeah, we went to Dapper Dan's a few times.
You love Harlem, man. I noticed that about you. You like Harlem, the Harlem culture.
I love Harlem. See my man last night too, Preem Man, from Harlem.
Gary?
Nah, not Gary. My man.
I know you're talking about.
I'm tired.
I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about the old timer.
Yeah, good. Solid. Wayne.
Wayne. Yeah.
I seen Wayne last night, man, at the first event I went to, man.
Okay.
I was happy to see him, actually.
Yeah.
I was happy to see Wayne, man. Yeah, and whatnot. I'll be coming around. I got to go see Tony from the 40. I got to catch up with people, man. Try to see Bump before I leave. I got to make my rounds before I leave.
You be having to make a lot of rounds, man.
Yeah.
You like a politician.
Soup. I got to go see a few people, man, you know.
Yeah. You're an important guy.
No, I ain't important at all, man. I'm just trying to find my way, man.
Why you be trying to be so modest and humble, man? It's okay to do that sometimes, but you an important guy, man. It's okay to, you know, it's all right.
I'm good, man. You ain't got nothing else to talk about?
I got a lot. I'm trying to ease you into it, man. Pause. I'm trying to ease you into some stuff, man. Yeah. I got to get you in your flow, man, your rhythm.
Are you in your flow? Because you seem to be more. I
wake up in my flow.
I told you I was up till 4, right?
Yeah.
I'm tired, but I'm so relaxed right now. Ain't bothered by anything. I probably look more relaxed than you, man. You look like you trying to ask me something. Or did you do a word? Should you ask? You didn't ask me all kind of stuff. What you got what's on your mind, man?
I'm just a student of the game.
Give the people what they want.
Yo, I'm a student of the game. I like hearing them old. See, me personally, like all that positivity stuff. Like I agree with you on that. But me personally, when I'm watching the interview, when I'm tuning into something, I want to hear them stories, man. That people be like, wow, that really happened. Oh, this happened. Like I'm more into the action. I like action
stuff. What you want to hear, man? What you want to hear?
You used to drive around in the bulletproof BMW?
No, that's a lie. See, I told you I don't lie to the people.
Yeah.
But they put that out there that he had a bulletproof. And I'm going to tell you the story. I never had a bulletproof BM or Mercedes. I went to San Antonio, Texas, to Executive Armoring Corporation to get a BMW bulletproof from head to toe with an electric shocking system, run flat tires, the system inside the car that gets people out the way like the police do and all that shit. I went and took a car down there and it was getting bulletproofed, top to bottom, like some James Bond shit. Just like, not like the president's joint, not like the Beast, but damn near, right? But what happened was during that time frame, I got locked up. So the car never got completed. Now I could sit here and lie and say I had it, right? For clicks and for people to be, oh, wow, boom. He had a bulletproof car, right?
But you had the thought to get it.
I almost had it. I just got locked up.
Yeah.
But the point is, I ain't gonna sit here and tell no lie like I had that, even though that's the lie that everybody been believing.
Got you.
I'm a truth teller.
Yeah.
Above all else. Now, I got stories, but I ain't giving you no lies, man.
Gangsta Lou told me a story about one time he had seen you crash a BMW, and then he said by the time he met you back in Queens, like y'all was somewhere else, you crashed the BMW. He said by the time he had met you back in Queens, you had the same BMW that you just had crashed at the crib where they met you at. It was a whole nother BMW, the same one you just crashed. So like you a BMW guy back in the days.
That's true. I crashed the BM and then went and got another one ASAP with a bad hip and everything. 'Cause I hurt my hip in that act. We was racing from Lacey's roller skating ring. All of us. It was Rich Porter and them. I think Alpo was with Rich Porter, different people. Lou might have been there. Everybody, you know, that's what we do. We race. We would race to the Fever, from Lacey's roller skating ring, back wherever. We all race. Sometimes whoever win the race, we pay them.
Okay.
Now it was dangerous, but at nighttime, you didn't have that many cars on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
So we were racing one time, and I was leading everybody. I was ahead of everybody. I was pushing the pedal to the metal because I'm an excellent driver. And what happened was there was a car up front of me that I was going to go around, but just as I was going around, Rich Porter and them speeded by. I had to slow down because I'm not going to hit nobody else. And I had to slow down. I couldn't go the way that they were coming. I seen them. They was coming too fast. But I had to get from around the car. And the only place I can go, because I was in that lane next to the divider,
mm-hmm.
I had to bump into the wall, right? So I don't hit the people in front of me. Else I hit them. So I bumped into the wall, I think, right? And I hurt my hip and crashed, and the car was totaled, but we survived. And so, not totaled where we got crushed or nothing, but it couldn't be corrected. You know what I'm saying? Because the front fender got bent in, and so Robo Big Just had to carry me, not Black Just, Big Just, and I didn't go to the hospital. I went to
another car dealership.
No, I'm talking about hospital.
Oh, okay.
I went to somebody who was a doctor though, and he couldn't really do nothing. But he said, "Yo, you kind of hurt yourself."
You don't like going to hospitals or something?
I don't like hospitals. I don't like funerals. But I wasn't gonna go to the hospital. I was in the car thing,
Yeah.
the car, right? And then yeah, but that's true about the car, different cars and whatnot.
So BMW was your favorite car back then?
BMW, Mercedes.
Those two.
Back then, yeah, I liked those cars.
Okay.
That was before they was even something. Now everybody got a BMW, Mercedes. Now is like anything.
Yeah.
People got way better things than that.
You had the gold BBs on your BMW?
BBSs.
Yeah, BBSs, yeah.
BBSs, yeah.
Speaking of...
I ain't impressed by none of that stuff no more. I ain't impressed by jewelry. I ain't impressed by cars. I really ain't impressed by that. You know what's going to impress me? Buying land, and, creating businesses and stuff like that. So.
Got you. You mentioned that you used to race Rich Porter and Alpo.
Not just them. We all raced.
Yeah.
I'll actually learn from Supreme.
Yeah.
We all did that. Corley and them. That's what we did, man. Black, just all of us. We used to race, man. You know?
No, but the reason
I just one of the best drivers, though.
You like saying that you was an excellent driver. You
excellent.
Like saying, yeah,
I like that.
I like when you say the truth. Like you be trying to be humble, and then I'm an excellent. You know, like you're a funny guy. But you mentioned Rich Porter and Alpo. You seen the movie Paid in Full?
I seen the movie Paid in Full. I forgot what year it came out. I think I was in prison.
2002.
Yeah. I remember when it first came out. I didn't watch it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Then I watched it. Hated the movie. If you want to know the truth, hated that movie, man, because I don't think it was told accurately from what I know of them. But I wasn't a part of them, so I can't say completely. I just know enough to know a little things about it. You know what I'm saying? And
what stood out to you that wasn't told right in the movie that you can remember or you can recall?
Paid in Full was told through, I think, someone else's
AZ.
It wasn't told through Rich Porter's eyes, because of course he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
If he were alive, he would have told a whole different story about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? But we do know from everything that happened the snake nature of Alpo. You know what I'm saying? And I think I forgot, I had an interview, and I mentioned in an interview about a situation where Rich Porter came to Baisley Projects. Black just brought him there after the kidnapping of his
brother,
little brother. And he came there, he brought us a duplicate copy of the tape, because he had a duplicate copy of it. Is the original copy, I think they had, the mother and them had to give to the Lord, because they was trying to get her son back. But he had a duplicate copy of the tape. At least I think it was duplicate, because either he brought the original or it was the dupe. I would assume it was the dupe. I would assume he came to us second, because the police was already staking things out. So what happened was, when he brought the tape to us, we got into the car. It was me, Teddy, Waverly Coleman, my Cody, Black Just, and Rich Porter, and we got into a car, got into my BM, and we played the tape, and we all got quiet. We was listening to the tape, listening to his little brother. He was hysterical. He was in shock because his finger had been cut off, and I'll never forget it, because he was crying. He was hysterical. And I was listening to that joint, and it shit touched me. It was vicious. It was just vicious to the ears to hear the kid crying like that. Paid him the money. So after the tape, we spoke, and I told him, I said, yo, man, who knew where you even live or where he schooled, who you think was close enough to know that? And the reason why I asked him that is because back in the days, my house where I lived in Queens Village, I didn't bring people by there like that. I didn't have a lot of people there when my family was there. That's not for everybody's business that's in that street life, because people in that life change with the currents, right? Unless they have such a bond that they would never cross certain lines. And you can't say that about everybody. So I asked him that question, and he said, man, he couldn't think of it. I said, what about, I said to him, what about anybody in your family you think would play games like that? But he said, nah, I never would. That wouldn't happen. And at the time, I wasn't insinuating nothing. I just was asking him, you got to go through everything. Then I said, what about Alpo? He said, nah, that's my man. He wouldn't do it. And I said, man, don't trust nobody, man. Your little brother got kidnapped. They're asking you for a ransom. And that wasn't the first time that happened. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to school them, right? And so we sent some people. I sent some of the team to Harlem. I didn't go myself. I sent some up there to see what we can do to help him out. But when they got there, they called me and told me that, yo, Prince, the police is everywhere. And that's how I knew the family must have went to the police first. Mm-hmm. But he said they was everywhere, man. We get involved in that shit, we gonna get caught up. And so I said, yo, y'all might as well come on back, man. Just tell Rich, man, it's too many police around there and whatnot. So, you know, and then I think for some reason he probably trusted this snake dude here, man, to help him out. And then this is the time. I don't care how much disagreement I have with somebody who I came up with. You in need of some help, and I still feel we got a solid bond of some type. I'm going to help you. I'm not going to, while your brother little brother's kidnapped, rob you and take no money from you. That's a person you ain't never supposed to trust. Mm-hmm. And he learned it the hard way. You know, and so after he got done, of course, whoever had his brother, they ain't had no choice. They wasn't gonna let the kid go, because they probably they've shown their face to him. They ain't have the heart to let the kid go. You know what I'm saying? Because they felt that probably they would be locked up. But that's a story I had. You know, this is a true story that nobody really know about, but 4 people, and 2 of them are dead: Rich Porter and Black Just. The only 2 who know this is me and Teddy. Mm-hmm. That whole story about that situation. And the ones that I sent up to Harlem.
Does Alpo remind you of anybody that was in your crew?
We ain't have we talk. It's two sides to Alpo. There's the snake side in the street, and some might say I'm wrong for saying that because you don't know what Rich Porter did to him. But I don't really buy that philosophy because he shouldn't have did that. There's two sides to Alpo. There's the rat side, and then there's the snake side. Two separate things. In his case, right? But it's all tied into one. You got some rats who ain't killers like that, like Alpo was. But he was a snake, a killer, and a rat. What I'm saying is that
that's a dangerous guy.
Let me explain it though.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got some people who will tell on you, but are not dangerous enough to kill you. They kill you on the stand. Remember that joint Jay-Z said? What's the name of that song where he said the dude took the stand and killed him from the stand, basically?
I don't remember.
It's a rap song.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, because I don't remember it, I'll come up with it later on, right? I forgot the name of it. But anyway, Jay-Z sung a song about a dude getting on the stand and killing him from the stand. You got some dudes who will tell on you, but they would never do nothing to you physically. Then you got some dudes who will tell on you, but will still do something to you physically. You feel me? That's the reason why you got some dangerous rat individuals, man, that will hurt you, even though they'll also profit or tell on you or put you in jail or give information to the police. Shit, look at the mob dude. Why you don't remember these names? I think the dude's name is Whitey Bulger, man.
Yeah.
I'll be trying to see what you know. You don't know a lot, man. You haven't done a lot of
all those guys that from the 80s and the 70s, I'm not gonna know all those guys. I know Alpo, I know this one.
You need to study
rats. You want me to study rats?
No, I ain't say study rats.
Yeah.
But are you one of them guys who's enthused with that street life?
Yeah, I like the movies about it, yeah.
So, study it. You know what I did when I was young? When I was locked up upstate, and when I was in the streets, I would look up the cases I looked up Guy Fisher's case, I looked up Underwood's case, I looked up all the mob cases back in the days. I went so far as to study Murder Incorporated.
Was you home or was you in jail when you did that?
I was in prison.
I mean, so there you go.
I studied all the mob. I had every case, and I would study those cases. Right,
but you see why you studied it though.
I was in that life.
There you go.
And I was coming home to that life.
I'm a good guy, man.
Exactly.
I'm into fashion. Yeah. I study fashion
you
people.
You into fashion, and you into wearing no shoestrings as a fashion.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't wait. I want to wait to see one day you get into something and you ain't got no shoes. I don't want to see that happen. For real.
I'm gonna call you after it's done. But
let's get back on what we was talking about. That question.
Yeah.
And what was the question again?
About Alpo being the snake, a rat, and a killer. And how dangerous he was.
No, he wasn't dangerous to me, right?
Yeah.
He was dangerous to Rich Porter. Rich Porter was a good hustler. He was a good guy. Rich Porter wasn't no killer.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't see certain things, I don't think, right? That are solid, ain't even solid. There's certain elements of the street life, man, right? Let's talk about that for a minute. There are elements to that street life, right? For instance, you got people on the corner, you got people in the middle, lieutenants, you got people high up. It's elements to the mob life, right? So the point is, I'm going to talk about that, but you got elements to the street life. You got hustlers, and you got
gangsters.
Gangsters, rather. You have gangsters, and just so you know, just because you got a gun and just because the people could do something to you with a gun don't make you tough. It don't make you a gangster. It don't make you none of that stuff, for real. You got cowards with a gun that can kill you. And that don't make them no gangster. even having a gun don't really make you a gangster, you see. But the point is, you got elements to that life. There's layers of that life, right? That you can see the difference in people. And I don't, you can tell the difference. It's hard for me to just describe what I'm trying to say. I'll give you an example.
I'm following you.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols, right? He did a lot in his life when he was young and as he grew up. And he's somebody you can actually learn if you look at his life, you can learn a lot about the street life. He was a thug when he was young, right? He went in and out of the penitentiary, Spofford, stuff like that. He was born in Alabama, moved to Queens, and he got arrested when he was young. Was in the drug game. He worked for a guy before, then he moved up, then he got his own, and then he became an informant, right? Then he became a rat. He was a confidential informant, a rat, and an informant, all in one thing.
So he was this rat, sneak, and killer.
He was a lot. Now, let's talk about that. He necessarily wasn't a snake, but the other things he, out of his own mouth, was, right? And whenever I speak about people, this is why I'll touch on I'll touch on that street life in my own time and fashion. But since we're talking a little bit about it now, he wasn't like Alpo when it comes to being a snake with people, like, for instance, to people around him like that. But he was everything else he was. See, he's not gonna probably hit his man up in a time like that. But he was everything else. You feel me? And so I bring him up to try to tell you, and I'm gonna do it. I'll show y'all what I mean. I'm gonna use his life as it applies to me to show you what time it is. Because I've seen magazine articles where some rappers actually did time around him and actually looked up to him, because in prison he would be able to teach him things and tell him things, right? But he probably didn't tell this particular person that he told on so many people, and cooperated with every alphabet letter law enforcement agency that exists. FBI, NYPD, DEA. It's not funny, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show you that this guy was a rat, confidential informant, and an informant, all wrapped up in one.
Mm-hmm.
And his life is something a person in the street who's trying to make a choice, who's struggling because of needs or wants, would learn from. And if they learned from his life, they would probably say, I ain't even messing with that street life. Because the things that I'm going to show them would have them shocked.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And so there's different layers to that street life. And although he was a thug at one time, and you would see him as some kind of gangster at one time, in reality, he was really not true to his gangster code ways.
What about Kingpin? He was a kingpin too.
He was a kingpin, not a gangster to me.
Okay.
Really, you know what I'm saying?
So what was my dad?
Your dad was straight gangster. He was a straight gangster. He lived as he portrayed at the time. And he never told on nobody. He kept it real with himself, kept it real with others, solid, And Cat loved him, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
But now Preem, when he came home, he tried to change his life around. And that's what he's trying to do now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to tell these stories. I'm going to tell these stories. So when you say people want to hear that, I'm going to get into it.
Yeah.
about a whole bunch of things, man. Because I'm here to teach. And if my life or my wisdom could teach somebody something, I'm gonna give it to them. And I sound too serious sometimes, man. So I'm gonna move on from that topic.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So you explain Cat, you explain Alpo, and you explain a little bit about my pops. So what would you say the difference as a whole from the flamboyance, from the cars to the street life and all that? What would be the difference between my pops and Alpo? Are they comparable in the grand scheme of things? Are they comparable?
Listen, you my cousin.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna give you an answer.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put Alpo in the same sentence that you would put your father. You can put him in the same sentence that you would put him and Cat. And I can explain the difference.
Yeah.
Alpo was a snake for what he did to Rich Porter.
Mm-hmm.
He was a not even a killer, I'd say a murderer, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's a difference to that too. I'll explain that on the podcast, but that's for the youth to learn to stay away from that life, really.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a rat informant and a confidence informant. That's Alpo.
Mm-hmm.
Cat was a rat, an informant, and a confidence informant,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he was the last part out of his own mouth. It's been proven that out of his own mouth that he was a person that took life.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his lifestyle, this situation. But he didn't really snake his friends, so to speak, other than people that he told on.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the degree in which Alpo killed Rich Porter. He didn't do that to people in the street life like that.
I'm talking about as far as comparing kingpins, not just the rat and stuff.
Alpo wasn't a kingpin.
Okay.
That's what people don't understand.
So let's say a guy like Meech and Fat Cat, like how would you compare them to as just kingpin, not the rat and stuff, not none of that stuff. I'm talking about as a kingpin.
Yeah, I don't want to even mention. You asking me a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me a question and say, how would you compare, say,
Preem and Meech?
That's a better. If you want to ask me that question, I can answer that question the way I want to. But
okay.
I like to. I gotta.
You gotta put people.
I gotta know facts.
Okay.
One Prince ain't never gonna call somebody something unless he sees it or knows it for a fact, right? So, to me, Meech was a hustler, right? From the story that I've seen, reflected in, what was that? BMF. Meech was a hustler. He was a good hustler, but he wasn't a gangster, right? And I'm not glorifying hustling or gangster. I'm just answering your question. I'm trying to be real. This is the one segment where we can talk like this, because all my other segments are going to be very much positive, and I ain't even talking about the street life, period. But I'm here for all the people that watch this podcast. The teenagers, the youth, the young adults, the street dudes, the old heads, the youngsters, whatever it is, I'm there for them. I'm going to speak the truth, right? To me, Meech was a hustler from what I saw on BMF. The one incident they got in with some guy over a girl had nothing to really do with the street life for real, right? He was a hustler. He wasn't on no gangster time for real. He wasn't the way your father was, right? It's a different life. It's different, completely different to me, right? And that's not to say nothing bad about nobody. You feel me?
Because a lot of people was mad at me when I put them on the shirt together. I had made a capsule.
I saw it. I was in prison when you did that.
Yeah, and the shirt said "Living Legends," and then it had Meech and Preem on there. And a lot of people were saying, "Yo, you can't put him with your pops. You can't do this. You can't do that." And in my head, I thought that was like a monumental shirt because. And then I went and gave it to his brother, Southwest T. And then it went viral and all that stuff. And a lot of people had they negative comments about me doing that shirt because they like, why would you put Meech on the shirt with your pops?
I actually like Southwest T, man. I really do, man. I like him, man. I like Southwest T. But I remember that time you did that. Did I speak to you on the phone?
I believe so. I think you asked me why did I do that too.
I think I did because I don't know what you was trying to say.
Yeah,
that's all.
Those two names are the two most iconic names in Black culture.
Oh yeah.
As far
and
as
that's
like
what you told me.
As far as that life that y'all lived. Is nobody.
Remember, there's different eras. There's different time periods. The streets were different back then, right? The Meech era was more about flash and it was flash and
Being in the cameras,
the music,
the billboards,
the labels, mixing, street mixing, stuff like that. And BMF had represented, it meant something.
Black Mafia family.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
Black Mafia family.
That's what it meant.
Rick Ross was blowing money fast.
Right. But either way you look at it, it was about showing that you had money and that you were balling and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The Preem's era was different. It was, even though you were fly and you wore jewelry and you did things, you wasn't really out there flashing. You just was living your lifestyle just the way that it was. It was a little different. It was more gangster. The streets were different. In our era, everybody couldn't just hustle like that. You had to be with a crew or be with a person who had big influence like that. And I know that they was getting a lot of money, whatchamacallit them, but he's a hustler. Holmes was a gangster.
Gotcha.
It's a difference to me. Now that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's saying nothing bad about him or him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking in general.
And to end it off, what would you call yourself? Was you a hustler? Was you a gangster? Which one would you call yourself?
Gangsters hustle too. Feel me? And whatnot. I was just trying to feed myself and the people around me, man. And
street entrepreneur.
See, it's not right for you to call yourself something. It's best that you can call somebody else something. So
Got you.
Talk about your father. I can mention
Got
the
you.
beaches. In my eyesight, I let the record reflect what I was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Got you, man.
Yeah.
Great conversation with you, man.
Well, this has been an interesting conversation. The Prince Miller Show. We're going to conclude.
My man.
My cousin here, myself. Don't forget, I have the book From the Cradle to the Grave, The Chronicles of a Criminalized Class. It will be in hardback and softback within the next few weeks. In fact, the softback should be out next week, about Wednesday, Thursday of next week. I will fill you in on my Instagram page. I have the current first episode of the Prince Miller Show. First and second episode. The first episode with Jay Prince, and the second episode with the champion, Shakur Stevenson, which was a beautiful, beautiful conversation with him about family, his goals, legacy, before he won the fight. In that episode, he had a hat on, 25-0, when he was 24-0, mind you. So you want to see that episode. And so subscribe, like, share. And I hope that you had a good time. And I'll see y'all soon. Peace.